Welcome to Nerd Sports, where we discuss topics that provoke thought without any fuss. Team of veterans and a brave civilian unite under Angry Me Productions' guiding light. We are a beacon for those who seek audacious humor, unafraid to speak, celebrating freedom with every beat, exploring controversial issues, taking a seat, navigating life with intellect, not defeat. The Nerd Force.
Ladies and gentlemen of all ages, boys and girls, thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of Angry Me Production. We appreciate you coming in and letting us be a part of your lives week in and week out. We hope to do our best to present you with something that your eardrums delight in. Whether you're looking at us on YouTube or Rumble, or listening to us on Spotify, Google, or Anchor, or any of the other podcast services that we are currently on or trying to get on, we thank you. And if you don't mind, at the end of every episode, stop by, leave us a comment, leave us a like. If it asks for 5 stars, we'll take 5 stars, even if you don't like us. 5 stars are what it's all about. With that being said, we hope you enjoy our attempt to make our advocation our vocation. Ladies and gentlemen, let the games begin. We here at Angry Me Production want to thank our sponsor, Mobile Notary Mindy. She's certified with the National Notary Association. She's also bonded and E&O insured. She offers a wide range of services, including wills, powers of attorney, medical documents, healthcare proxies, living wills, certification of trust, assignment of personal property, HIPAA waivers, advanced healthcare directives, and 99 verification. You can find her on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram at Mobile Notary Mindy. You can also visit her webpage at TexasMobileNotaryMindy.com. That's TX, MobileNotaryMindy.com. Thank you so much, and enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, angry faithful of all ages, I would tell you to adjust your televisions. I would tell you to rotate your phones or your mobile devices over to landscape, because really, who watches anything in fucking portrait anymore? The 3 OG panelists for Nerd Sports are in attendance at the beginning of the show. I would say that small miracles never cease. I would say that, dog's ass, sunshine once a week. But
sometimes
these are the moral victories. This reminds me of playing golf. Your drivers treat you like ass. Your wedges, your irons especially treat you like ass. Your putter laughs at you to your face while it's cucking you, kind of a thing. But then every once in a while, you hole out from 50 yards with your pitching wedge, your 56 degree, and just everything kind of turns to letterbox. You get that heartbeat like the old school Tiger Woods games. It's moments like that. It's moments like this that keep me coming back. So, gentlemen, thank you so much. Thank you.
Is that a golf clap?
Yeah, it is a golf clap.
It warrants a golf clap.
All right, Dave. Proceed with the weird sport of the week.
Yes, the this is a funny one. I found this and I was like, oh my Lord, Lanta.
Oh my Lanta. Okay.
Oh my Lanta. It is wheelchaired boxing.
Yeah.
It's
awesome.
I mean,
yeah.
That's like that's a whole new subgenre of snuff fights, right?
I don't know if it's a snuff fight, bro. I don't know if it's.
I mean, obviously it's sanctioned.
Am I the only one that's hoping for somebody to just get a little oomph on the reach and just knock the wheelchair holder out?
Oh, that would be great. I want to see Big Boy in the construction t-shirt, on the right. I want to see him go down.
Man, nobody's missing that dude. That dude has all of the visibility.
Yeah, it is all types of funny. I mean,
come on, you got to keep those feet moving, guys. I mean, I'm
Footwork.
sorry. My bad. I mean, they're not going to have
guys
You gotta
behind.
watch that real work.
they're
I
not
mean,
going to be catching chickens in a yard anytime soon, right?
Yeah, no. Unless they trap them
I
and
mean, is
everything.
it considered footwork if they just set their handbrake?
I mean, it's
think
got to be all upper body, dude, because I mean, how are they driving? How are they pushing? You know, how are they? I mean, where's the force coming from? That's what I want to know.
Coming from it's all in the shoulders because you can't put your hips behind it because
It's like batting practice off of a tee.
you're not turning the hips on there, so it's just all in the shoulder. We're terrible people.
Man, I mean,
I'm not
it's
even
just.
sorry. I'm not even sorry either.
I mean,
That's the worst
you
part.
know, I could just imagine it. Like, you know, you get these Ben Stiller type, like, you know, assisted living employees. I could see them somewhere off back, off in the back, off camera, just kind of just like hedging their bets. You know, when they show up, you know, like from the different assisted living homes, you know, at the fight arena, and they get out. They just do the transpo drivers like eyeball each other?
It's got to be because you know these aren't sanctioned.
Yeah.
This is not a WBA sanctioned fight. But like, how does that? But okay, think about this because there's another element to this we didn't even think about. How do you know he's been knocked out? Like yeah, he can slump in the chair a little bit, but is that considered going against the ropes? Like, how do you do a countdown on this? You know, how do you know he's come back up? You know, you do your 7 count, and then you touch gloves. Are you good to go? He can't. You're like the logistics of that boggle the mind.
Or here's one even better.
How do you count
the guys that are holding the chairs? Do they imagine themselves to be like Hugh Jackman in Real Steel?
Oh, they fall for them. You're like, oh shit, he's not moving. I better fall down. Was he moving again? Okay, I'll step back up.
You imagine the shit that gets talked by the combatants on the way back to their bus is like, nice wheelchair, bitch.
No, even better. Could you imagine they get like a high quality wheelchair for the boxing matches? He hit his wheel on my shins.
It's like real life Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
It really is.
My God. Yes. You know what? Oh my God. Okay. This is even worse because
like, don't hit me there. It's my colostomy bag.
Guys, I just realized that I told one of my new directors about the podcast today, and she's like, "Oh, that's cool. I'm gonna I'll listen to it and check in." And
hey, you know what?
I really hope she forgot.
Speaking to that, Chris is a stand-up citizen in these United States of America.
I really just play one on TV.
Like,
trust me, I am as horrible as everybody else, bro.
it's one of those moments. It's like, go straight to the HR. I get it now.
I'm gonna walk in and Juana's just gonna be like, right, come on.
I mean, what a first episode, right? You know, I mean, how's that for your nerd sports initiation? You're tuning in, expecting something wholesome. What do we throw up on the screen? 2 wheelchair-bound guys slugging the shit out of each other. And we make up an entire backstory for this cottage industry.
This needs to be our introductory episode. Whenever somebody is going, no, you look at what are we up to? 180.
Yeah, look at 182.
182. Here we go.
Don't talk to me unless you've seen 182.
That's the one you start with, and then start going back to another catalog.
Oh
Uh,
my
yeah.
God. And Max is in the comment section. So how's it going,
No,
Max?
that's me. That's me.
what?
Oh, is
a-
that you? Okay. Well, it said, the Max. All right, never mind. I was thinking maybe, you were going to be cool for a second and you were going to make a really awesome play on the late 90s or early 90s Image comic, The Max. Remember that one, Chris?
I don't. I remember Max Headroom.
Oh,
no.
The
Max-
Max.
He
Oh,
was
The Max was
the guy was
so
like
good.
he was the whole premise of it. He was a homeless guy that went crazy, and he has to protect this little this
Little
I don't know.
girl.
It wasn't a little girl. It was a goth woman.
Yeah, something like that. But I mean, like, he had
They
this
had-
whole
they
purple
had a-
costume,
like a-
dude.
Yeah.
The artwork alone was amazing.
Interesting.
Oh, hold on. Real
Yeah.
Yeah, I
quick.
don't know. I
And it's Max spelt with 2 X's.
Yeah.
of course it's
Yeah. So right now, ALCS is underway tonight. Game 1 against the Cleveland Guardians against the New York Yankees. The Yankees are up 1-0 in the bottom of third. Runner on first, 1 out right now. Yeah, see, there you go.
interesting.
Yeah. Oh, dude. And
Hey,
it was a comic book before it became a cartoon. But like, dude, it was just so good. And then we've got the NLCS. That series is tied at a game apiece. The Dodgers came out swinging in the first game, and then tonight the Mets showed up, and the Mets hit a grand slam again this postseason. They won game 2 to tie that series up at a game apiece at 7-3.
I still refuse to believe that the Mets have gone this far into the postseason.
Hey, you know what? There's a lot of people already that, I mean, what did I say? I said this at the just before the season ended.
Mhm.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised if we saw a Subway Series this year.
Yeah,
It would be interesting.
And you know what? I would.
just for the sake of the sport, I hope it happens.
Oh, yeah. I mean, or at the very least, if Cleveland ends up representing the American League, I mean, dude, can you imagine? This would be like a David versus Goliath type situation, right? You've got the Guardians potentially going up against either. Well, let's just call it like it is. If we were to see a Cleveland LA World Series and Cleveland actually pulls it off,
Oh, dude.
Cleveland would burn itself down.
True.
Oh yeah.
Very true.
I mean, those poor people in Cleveland. I mean, you go back to 2016 when it was the Cubs and the Indians, right?
Oh, yeah.
It gets all the way to a game 6, right? Or was it game 6? I think it was a game 6. And the Indians take the lead in the 9th off of Aroldis Chapman, right? And then, of course, the Cubs come back and they take the lead. And I'm just like, man, you got all these Cleveland fans sitting in the stands going, how did this happen? You know, I mean, you give up the lead in the top of the 9th, and then, you know, you bring in, I forget who was pitching for Chicago, but just that last out from Chris Bryant all the way over to Anthony Rizzo at first, dude, iconic. And, you know, I was listening to the Chicago radio call for that. These dudes were crying, grown ass men crying because they never thought that they'd see the day.
Yep. How can you not be romantic about the game of baseball?
Telling you. Oh, let me see something here. We're gonna go over college football real quick because there was. Boy, I'm just.
It got a little spicy.
It did. Let me do this real quick. Okay, so I want week 7. I don't want. There we go. Okay, so of course we had the Red River Shootout. For those of you who don't know, that is the annual game between Texas and Oklahoma. This year just happened to be the first edition of the SEC version of that game. So, me personally, I was just kind of like, I think it'd be hilarious if Oklahoma walked out of there with the golden hat again. But man,
I gotta say this. Though. Watching that game was I did an episode on Section Social. I think you were on the first half. I'm not really sure. But it was the massacre of Nanjing, where Japan did like horrible things to the Chinese people.
Are you comparing what Texas did to Oklahoma? Are you comparing that to Unit 66?
Yes. No, not Unit 66.
Bro.
It's a lot worse. It's a lot worse. He looked that stuff up. Nanking massacre.
I remember that.
There's a different
I remember that episode.
There's a different term.
that was bad. But
Yeah.
still, no, we're not doing that, dude. All right,
Dude,
so for those of you who are wondering, my wife, my lovely wife, made homemade she made homemade Nutter Butter cookies for me to include the filling. And this will be single-handedly the reason why I will continue to look like a busted can of biscuits with my shirt off.
Worth it.
She's all worried. She's like, well, if they're good, will you tell me? And I'm like, yeah, I'll tell you.
Oh, you'll know.
Oh my God.
Where are the rest of the cookies?
So where'd you put the cookies?
In my stomach.
Yeah. So the Texas starting defense on Saturday stayed in the game the whole day.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't rotate out for second, third stringers like the offensive unit was, because the Texas defense wanted to make a statement that they did not allow Oklahoma in the end zone all day. And they got close.
Yeah.
But I mean, Oklahoma, I would say that they got a case of the yips, but I think more appropriately, I think we need to rename that anomaly. Oklahoma came down with a case of the Dax on Saturday.
I mean,
You're not wrong.
I mean, I'm out of line, but I'm not wrong. Let's see here. Ohio State was upset by Oregon 31-32. And for those of you who are Oregon fans out there, don't get all excited. I mean, they're going to lose this season. I mean, it's just going to happen. They're going to lose this season.
Sorry about
that. Right. Let me see here. Number 5, Georgia beat Mississippi State 41-31. South Carolina, unranked South Carolina, damn near beat number 7 Alabama on Saturday. 25-27.
How do you get unranked?
They're outside the top 25. That's all that means.
Oh,
okay. Now, for those of you who are Tennessee Volunteer fans or are familiar with the rivalry between Tennessee and Florida, normally it would be a marquee year to see that Tennessee beat Florida.
No,
not so much this year.
It doesn't really mean anything this year.
It doesn't quite have the same panache.
Yeah.
It's like they come up.
It's like beating New England now. Like it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
It's like they came up.
But that quarterback that New England started on Sunday,
ooh,
he's scary. He's scary. Not Tom Brady scary, but he's scary.
No.
Yeah, it's you putting a bow tie.
It was a good game. It was a good game. I'll say
Hey, you
that.
put lipstick on a pig, and she can run for vice president too. So I mean, come on.
See what you did there.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
There was an upset though. Number 9 Ole Miss was actually favored going into Death Valley to play LSU at night at LSU. Number 13 LSU ended up winning 29-26. So, okay. I hope you enjoyed your stay in the top 10, Ole Miss. Didn't last long. Let me see here. What else is out there that kind of grabs the attention?
The Army game.
I'm getting there.
You
Shh. You
Slow your
shut
roll.
whore mouth.
Slow your roll.
Holy dog shit, Batman.
And
Fucking embarrassing.
why did I keep you all around?
why do we keep you around?
So depending on what poll you pay attention to, Army is either unranked or they're ranked 23rd in the nation. They're 6-0. They're 5-0 in their conference, which is the American Conference. They played UAB on Saturday at Mitchie Field, which is in West Point, New York. Basically, it's a home game for those of you keeping score at home. The Army quarterback, Bryson Daly, he had 4 touchdowns on the day, 12 carries, 136 yards. He had 3 rushing touchdowns in the first quarter alone on Saturday, highlighted by the mother of all stiff arms. He dribbled this poor UAB player's head off of the turf on his way to the end zone.
And it didn't even look like he was trying.
Yeah, I mean, all he did was he put that right arm out. I mean, he looked like a Heisman Trophy. I mean, the dude just said,
Yeah. It was
and this
brutal.
UAB guy was just falling backwards. You see his head go, boom. It was great. But Army, I mean, they took their foot off the accelerator in the fourth quarter and they only scored a field goal. But they ended up winning 44-10 on Saturday.
Yeah.
And I'm like, good Lord. Yeah. I'm not saying that Army's going to go undefeated this year. I'm not saying that they're going to have a chance at making the playoffs. I'm not saying that at all. But damn, the Black Knights look good this year. They really, really do.
The one on the game on the 14th of December, that's going to be a good game. Because Navy's, I think they're 6-0 too.
They're also 6-0. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think here. Yeah, I mean, the only question mark really besides Navy, because I mean, Army Navy game is an outlier, right? Both teams could be having the worst year, but they look like top 5 teams playing on that day because the entire country's watching. And you can say, well, it's because it's the only game going. No, it's because it's the only game out of the entire year that really matters, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, we're biased when we say that, but you know what? You don't like it, you can tune out or not. I could really give a shit. It's our opinion. It's our show. We just try to make it sound like it's as unbiased as humanly possible. We fail.
Sometimes we try.
But getting back to my point, the only really team that poses any kind of a question mark on Army's schedule besides Navy is Notre Dame. And you know, they did a winning percentage, expected winning percentage projection on Saturday. And actually, they did it again yesterday during the Cowboys broadcast. And or no, it wasn't during the Cowboys. It was during the Texas OU game. That's what it was. The only team that Army has a below 50% winning percentage on is the Notre Dame game. And I think that depending on the next couple of weeks for both teams, that winning percentage could actually go up. But every other team, to include Navy, they're above 60% expected to win those games. And I'm like, wait, are we talking about Army, right? We're talking about Army. We're talking about a service academy team.
Right.
You know, and I mean, the Army's still running that triple option, but it doesn't look like a triple option offense. You know, so I mean, it just but I listen to the games mostly because I can't stream the games all the time. But Saturday I was able to stream the game, and I'm telling you that was an impressive game to watch. I mean, it was an entertaining game to watch. It was fun, but just looking at what remains of Army's schedule, because we're looking at this coming Saturday, the 19th, they're playing East Carolina. The following week, they're playing Air Force. So these next 2 weeks are home games for Army. And then they go on the road November 9th. They go to Denton, Texas to play University of North Texas. And then they've got they go up to Indiana to play Notre Dame on November 23rd. And then they're back home on November 30th to wrap up basically the regular season against UTSA, which is University of Texas San Antonio. So they've got 3 home games left. Actually, 4 road games because they're going to be the home team for the Army Navy game on December 14th. But you know, those winning percentages that we were seeing, it was a shocker. Like, I was surprised that they even put that graphic up, because I'm like, wow. You know, when you've got when you got ABC or, you know, basically ESPN talking about Army on a day that's not the Army Navy game, Coach Monken's doing something right up there.
It's very strange.
Yeah. So I mean, but hey, I'm here for it. I know that we are. I know that David is he's a little disheartened because
I wasn't even disheartened because of the chances of Army and Air Force maybe skimmed by the teeth. That went out the window when I saw them play Navy.
Right. I was going to say, like, Air Force's schedule overall this year and their record to this point is really kind of disheartening.
Yeah.
And there he is. What's up, guy? Oh. So your stepmom made me some homemade Nutter Butter cookies today.
Yeah, you better save me some.
No chance. Zero chance.
I'll tell you what. I'll save you 2. I'll put them in a bag and I'll hide them.
All right.
Yourself.
From yourself.
Better yet. Better yet. No. Better yet. Why don't you make her hide them?
Yeah.
Say, let her.
Yeah. But
how about for this one for this episode, because of certain instances and everything, go ahead and do joke time with Colin and we'll get in the NFL stuff.
okay. You got your material ready, bud?
Yeah.
Look at that. Producer doing producing things.
Rising from the smoke and haze of desolation comes the Spartan, He is bent on wronging that which has been set right. It's the greatest genetic code ever to exist here for your ears and eyes to feast upon. Spartan Colin, I hope you're bringing the smoke tonight. Someone get me a joke.
What did the mentally challenged kid get on his math test? David, that's where you answer.
Oh,
That's not the that's not the joke, but I feel like I had to add that
Oh, Eddie punchline that comes out.
in.
uh,
I just want to let you know that's not the joke.
Yes,
Oof. That's not the joke, but you know.
it is now.
We don't have to worry about that. We're done with that joke.
All right, seriously though, where did the mentally challenged kid get on his math test?
I don't know. I didn't take the test.
Drool.
Drool. Oh my god.
The first part was actually better than what you just did. That.
Oh man,
Oh, bro, that
was that is why he is the GOAT.
Oh man.
Fantastic.
Coming out strong, dude. Woo! Damn. Poor David.
I brought people together to hate on me. This is just wonderful.
Oh my god, that was great. What else you got, Colin?
I feel like I don't know if I can say this next one. Like I know it's okay, but here I sent it to you. I want.
Oh god. Okay.
This is so sad.
It's he's speechless.
Okay. Do you want me to just go ahead and tell this one?
Yeah, I want you to tell this one.
Okay. Do you hear that Mary Poppins had to stop wearing lipstick while giving head? Apparently, the supercalifragilistic see, I fucked that up. The supercalifragilist or fragilate. The way it's written, super color fragile lipstick makes the dicks atrocious. Yeah. This is
Dude.
Wow. Supercalifragilistic. I cannot say that word for some reason tonight. Supercalifragilis lipstick made the dicks atrocious. Yeah, I'm gonna try to. Yeah, to say that I butchered that joke, son, I apologize from the bottom of my heart. Forgive me.
That's one
Apparently,
of those.
I was the one who got drool on the test.
Yeah. True.
Okay.
You let us all down.
I did. And, you know,
deeply, deeply disappointed.
Well, I mean, get in line, dude. That's all there is to it. Okay. So there was some games this weekend. Currently, the Bills have the ball. There's 12:06 left in the second quarter, and they are trailing the New York Jets 7-10. Yeah, I'm going to need Jared Allen to pull his head out of his ass. And, you know, I don't know, maybe win a game. Anyway, we're going to start off with the Thursday night game. I don't understand how we all got that game wrong.
I don't either. At all.
Point is, we got it wrong. San Francisco won 36-24. So we didn't start the week off on a high note. The early Sunday morning game from London between the Jaguars and the Bears. We all got that one right. So, that was nice to see. I'm sitting in church. I've got the score updating. Yes, while I'm paying attention to the sermon. But, the Bears win. So good on them. Let me see here. Everybody but Chris got this next game wrong. The Commanders at the Ravens. The Ravens beat them 30-23 with a caveat.
That was actually a good game.
It was a good game, and it showed if the players in Washington are paying attention, they know what they need to work on to finish bringing that division home.
Yeah,
hands down.
Yeah, the Commanders or the Redskins are actually they're a team to be kind of scared of.
I mean, they're going to be scary for a couple of years as long as they can keep their core together.
They have the potential.
Yeah,
to be scared. Let's not get carried away.
Yeah,
the potential. Okay,
they're not, dude. If they were in any other division, they would not be.
I understand. We all got the next game right, except for Max. That little glint of hope, like because he's like, I don't know, he's ride or dying with the Cardinals this year for some ungodly reason. He thinks Kyler Murray was, and for all intents and purposes, maybe the Cardinals should have won that game. But Kyler Murray saw the beatdown that his Oklahoma Sooners got at the hands of the Longhorns, and he started that game Sunday just completely disheveled, disheartened. He came walking out of the locker room, his shirt's untucked, his hair's all disheveled, his underwear's in his pocket. He looked like a used up hooker. Sad. 13-34 the Packers in that one. Then we all got this next one right, and boy, I'm telling you what, even though the Texans beat the Patriots in Foxborough for the first time in like 6 years. Actually, that was the first win as a franchise up in Foxborough ever. 41-21 was the score. But the New England quarterback, he looked good. He's got some learning to do, but it looked like he had made progress from the first half to the second half. He was a completely different quarterback.
Yeah.
And
big time difference, because in the first half, I mean, good Lord, I was like, hey, Texans, save some steam for the second half.
Yeah.
Because they were just bulldozing.
It was
first half.
Mm-hmm.
And that second touchdown was only because they got an interception.
Yeah. So I mean, boy, the next game we all got that one right. We had a pretty good week for the most part this week, and that's just kind of as a show or as a whole, right? The group collectively here, but we all picked the Buccaneers to beat the Saints, and they did that to the tune of 51-27. So,
that's.
I mean, I remember Max saying something to the tune of, until somebody can prove that they can stop the high-scoring offense of the New Orleans Saints and Alvin Kamara, I'm picking the Saints every time. Well, I think that the proof is in the pudding right there.
We found it.
Yeah.
Baker
Mayfield saw how bad his Sooners lost. It was funny. They showed him footage of some Texas players planting a flag at midfield through his jersey, right?
Yeah.
And he said, well, I mean, they're just kids. They're celebrating. But the fact that I live rent free in their head's a pretty good feeling.
Nice.
So I'm like, okay.
That
All
is,
right.
that is a good feeling at times.
Yeah. We all picked Philly to win, but they barely escaped with their lives on Sunday versus the Browns.
I can't. It's
I mean, you'd say it couldn't happen to a better team, but
Yeah,
I mean, I'm happy it happened.
it's one of those moments when you're happy, but you're still upset at the same time.
you're like, "Yeah, we got to pick right." Oh crap! It was Philly because they won. You know,
Yeah, basically.
but we also got the next game right. Joe Flacco, the Lazarus of the NFL, or shall we call him Methuselah? I think Methuselah is a better fit. What do you think? Anyway,
Yeah.
he led the Colts into Nashville to play the Tennessee Titans, and they picked up the win there for us, 20-17. Colts are now 3-3. I think that they're a team that everybody needs to prepare for. I'm trying to get tickets to the Texans Colts game on the 27th at the end of the month. So I don't know if I can, great. I may go pick up like a cheap CJ Stroud jersey or something like that somewhere, like Walmart or whatever. But just until I can afford to get like a really good one. But anyways,
I hate both teams up here.
Okay.
I'm just putting it out there. I just want that to be known.
What now?
I hate both. I hate the next teams, both of them equally. So I didn't really care.
Well, every time Joe Harbaugh has a heart arrhythmia, he's 2-0. He's now 3-0 with anytime he has like a pregame heart episode, cardiac episode. He had an arrhythmia before the game on Sunday. He goes into the locker room. He comes back out during the first half and takes over the coaching duties. I don't want to see this trend continue because we will put that man in a pine box before the Super Bowl. Nobody wants that, right? But the Chargers ended up beating the Donkeys. So, Colin, you, myself, and Max, we all got that one wrong. Wasn't taking into consideration, cardiac events. And it dawned on me, I didn't do your outro. So should we take a break and do that real quick?
Yeah.
Or do we just push on?
Just push on.
Just push on? Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Max picked the Las Vegas Raiders to win on Sunday. And they didn't. Everybody else, however, picked Pittsburgh. 32-13. Winner, chicken dinner.
I didn't have faith in the Raiders.
I didn't either. That's why I didn't pick them.
Zero.
Yeah. I mean,
I've seen how the Steelers have been playing this year.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's going to be a massacre. Man, that was
Right.
kind of right. It wasn't
all right.
that.
So the next game, everybody picked correctly again.
Surprise.
The Falcons with Kirk Cousins at the helm, 38-20 over the Panthers. I mean, they played, and they showed a very balanced game in front of that sold out crowd of 15 people.
Capacity crowd.
But yeah,
What, 3?
it's like I mean, for what it's worth, I do hear that the Panthers are leasing the 50-yard line out for halftime shows. So the next home game, look for a handicap boxing or a wheelchair boxing match at the Panthers game during halftime.
I heard it's available for your next corporate event.
Yeah.
Kid's birthday party.
Or no, you're going to see some entrepreneuring NCO from the 82nd Airborne putting on a PowerPoint presentation for Sharp during halftime at the next Panthers game.
There you go.
So Colin has made it clear, because I told him you made homemade Nutter Butters, that he wants you to put 2 of them in a bag and hide them so that way he can have them when he comes down.
Specifically, hide them from Johnny.
Yeah, and specifically hide them from me, because these, as I stated in my text message that I know you didn't read. You did? Oh, okay. This is going to be single-handedly the reason why I will continue to look like a busted can of biscuits with my shirt off. Better than the store-bought. Absolutely better than the store-bought.
Damn.
Yeah,
Bold
100%.
Well, we'll make some fresh ones this weekend.
She'll make some fresh ones this weekend for you, Colin. He was like, yeah.
None of the other kids eat peanut butter. So Jake's allergic to it.
Yeah. Then this was the America's Game of the Week on Fox. Tom Brady was in the booth for this one.
There was no game. What are you talking about? I don't know what game you're talking about.
Dallas called up their practice squad and said, "Hey, go out and play Detroit."
They had a bye week.
It might as well have been.
I've learned.
Played like it.
I've learned my lesson.
Here's my thing. Yesterday was Jerry Jones's birthday, his 88th birthday. And he gets a steaming box of absolute dog shit for his birthday.
I mean, he did it to himself.
Yeah.
He just paid that man $60 million a year to go out and act like that.
Mm-hmm.
I would propose this.
42.2 quarterback rating.
I would
That's what
propose this.
60 million got you.
I propose this. Rework the contract with a performance penalty in it.
Mhm.
You know, everybody talks about performance incentives, but for every interception you throw, young man, you owe your club $1 million. It's a little steep. Sure. Then how about maybe don't throw into fucking double coverage?
Every
Oh yeah.
time.
And when you get behind, you press, and it's like, oh, triple coverage? I got skills. What are you going to do about it? And he throws it like over his shoulder and then shakes his head as he's pulling off his chin strap, surprised that the other team came down with the ball. I mean,
this keeps happening.
Now Aiden Hutchinson, defensive end for Detroit. Keep that boy in your prayers. He had a nasty leg break.
Yeah,
Dude,
yesterday.
I heard that.
And
I mean, they have sound all around that place and everything.
mhm.
But just to listen, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
That
I
was-
mean, his leg went
It-
around the shin bone of his teammate.
mm-hmm.
He's laying there and he just looks up and he's like, I broke it. Like you could read his lips. I broke it. That's all he said. I mean, he went in for immediate surgery yesterday before the game was even over. He was already in surgery. He's going to, and they announced it. It is official today. He is going to be out for the remainder of the season.
That's
But
not
yeah.
a surprise at all.
Yeah. that surprised me.
But the Lions, they, you know,
They did some dirty stuff at the end of that game only because they had a lineman catch going for a touchdown.
Here's the thing. You want to know why that is? It's because you go back to last year for the Thanksgiving Day game that the Lions should have rightfully won. When that lineman announced himself as being eligible, either the referee didn't hear him or just flat out ignored it, right? Because you can't have Jerry Jones lose on Thanksgiving Day. It would just be bad for the Salvation Army, right? That was the play. And it was the play where the lineman, he announces himself as an eligible receiver, walks up to the referee, brushes down on his jersey. Hey, I'm eligible. Referee makes that announcement. All the defensive players are looking at this cat. They're like, all right, I got you. Right. That's what they ran that play 3 times yesterday.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I mean, when you get one of the more, I don't want to say high powered offenses, you get one of the more expensive offenses in football being denied entry to the end zone, 47-9. 47-9. There TVs were not being broken yesterday in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, to the credit of Cowboys Nation.
Yeah.
They were just being changed. They were being, it was either, I don't feel like watching this anymore. People turning on their PlayStations, their Xboxes, or they were just flipping over to either a streaming service, or they just changed the channel.
So let me ask you this. What is it going to take to get the Cowboys back on track? How do we right this ship?
A quarterback coach, for one. I mean, and I'm not throwing this all on the shoulders of Mike McCarthy. I'm not. Because I don't agree a lot with the firing of a head coach just because, oh, well, he's the coach. The buck stops there. No.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers even has a
Aaron, no, don't get me started on him, because all he did was he went up to New York and he pulled a Brett Favre. That's all he did. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is nothing more than a really bad J.J. Abrams or NFL version of J.J. Abrams, right? He takes something that's already established as canon, he puts his like camera lens flares on it and calls it something new, right?
I get that.
But as far as Dallas is
he
concerned,
he does have a quarterback coach. I wasn't trying anything other than
no. Mike McCarthy's the head coach in Dallas. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not saying firing him is going to be the end all, going to be the cure all, because it's not.
It's not.
99% of the time when the head coach gets fired, the team continues on its losing ways. They might win a game here or there, but their season does not produce anything meaningful. And by meaningful, I'm talking about a playoff appearance and a playoff win. Okay. What I think needs to happen in Dallas is I think Dak Prescott needs somebody of a Joe Flacco-esque mentality teaching him. If you want to go out and spend the money, Jerry, looking at you. If you want to go out and spend the money, go out and spend the money on somebody like Joe Flacco, okay? An established veteran who has won a Super Bowl, who has a lot of experience playing as the backup. Just because you're the backup doesn't mean that you're less skilled. A lot of times, it means that you've got just as much skill as your QB1, but you've got the experience to rein in your QB1, because while you've got this older guy playing backup, he's in the ear of that young guy all the time. And I think that a lot of times when Dak's on his game, he's on his game. But more times than not this year, the Dallas Cowboys and their fan base have been subjected to the assault on their souls at the hands of Dak Prescott. Whether he's fumbling the ball or he's throwing interceptions. I mean, it just, I can't recall, except with the exception of say maybe Quincy Carter. Remember him?
Yeah.
Okay. Who a quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys that had a bigger turnover problem. And yeah, you could throw Tony Romo's name into that conversation, but I think that
Tony Romo was good on paperwork, but when it came down to the actual games and everything, the
difference between Prescott and Romo is the fact that Romo knows how to engineer a drive. He knows how to engineer a drive. He had play calling ability. So does Dak. But Dak makes the wrong decisions. a lot, to the point where Cowboy fans are not surprised anymore. We hold our breath every time he throws a pass. And that's why the cheers whenever a completion is made are just a little bit louder in AT&T Stadium than they are anywhere else in the NFL. Because it's almost like,
Just happy.
oh
to look-
shit, it's a pleasant surprise. Like, oh hey, you've conditioned. I mean,
It's
I would
so
almost go ahead.
the best we can hope for is an incomplete pass. At this point, that's how bad it's gotten now.
It's almost a Pavlovian response.
Yeah.
You know, where, oh, completed pass. Oh, it's a first down. Oh, and that was oh, yay. You know, we're going to cheer now. Yay. Hooray. I think that the running game, you last year, Dallas had the highest scoring offense. They had the highest average points per game, right, on offense. Right up to the point where they got to the playoffs. And then something happened, right? I do think that, I mean, if you want to adopt this, you know, go after the leadership mentality, go after Dak. Go after Dak.
Well,
This man sold himself to Jerry, to the Jones family, saying, I'm worth $60 million a year. Oh yeah. You don't pay me, it'd be the worst decision that you've made since firing Jerry Jones. I mean, Jimmy Johnson.
Right. And that's you hit the nail right on the head right there with that one word, leadership.
Yeah.
He has none. He is not running the team. He is out there, and that's the problem. And again, you comes down to what you signed that deal. What was it? 3 hours before kickoff?
Yeah.
Kickoff. He's not playing for the team. He's playing for himself, and it shows.
And I hate to pull that Tom Brady card, but Tom Brady, I think maybe twice, maybe 3 years out of his entire career, was he the highest paid member of that team.
Yeah.
He took pay cuts to allow more room under the salary cap so that way his owner, Robert Kraft, could go out and sign players that will enable this team to go on and win. That's why New England's got 6 Super Bowls. That's why Tom Brady's got seven rings.
That is a guy that plays to win. That is playing for the ring.
You know, and you could tell, I mean, Tom Brady historically has never liked the Dallas Cowboys because he grew up a 49ers fan, right?
Right.
But listening to him call that game during the first half, because I mean, I changed the channel.
Mm-hmm.
During the first half, he was all about Jared Goff, right? Talking about the receivers and the tight ends for Detroit. I mean, talking about when a guy goes vertical and he plants that leg, he was like, you know, he's like, that is my favorite thing. Because that tells me that guy's about to get open. Sitting there listening to him talk about the Cowboy offensive drives, bro, it's like night and day. I mean, he was talking about the potential, the promise that Dak Prescott had, but it just
see, but that's the problem that we have here, and that I think that you address the issue is that, you know, they need a quarterback coach, because you see this time and again. Dallas will get, you know, the next great quarterback, and you'll get 2, maybe 3 good years out of them, maybe, and then they go to shit.
And a lot of the reasons why they do go to shit is because Dallas, traditionally, they don't draft well. They just don't. I mean, when you're talking about the 90s, when they picked up Irving, Emmitt Smith, and Troy Aikman, not in the same draft, but, you know, during that era, you know, and then you had your outliers like Alvin Harper, and you know, they would sign guys like Ken Norton off of free agency. You know, those were the teams, right? I mean, like, you go back and it, Dallas Cowboy fans, and I hate to say this, so just bear with me here. they behave a lot like Yankee fans sometimes. They talk about the great old teams,
Mm-hmm.
and when things are going their way, they are probably one of the most insufferable groups of people on the face of the planet. But when things are going bad, oh, it is. I mean, you could hear chants around the stadium on Sunday, sell the team, sell the team. I mean, people were leaving.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that Cowboys Nation used to be able to hang their hat on, was the fact that even when their team was just sucking, they were there.
Yeah. We were America's team. It was ride or die.
Now people are like, screw this. We're going to beat traffic. We're going to head home.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, yesterday, Dallas was able to drive the ball all the way right up to the red zone, the edge of the red zone, sometimes even get to the red zone. And then they would turn the ball over. You know, Brandon Aubrey, your kicker, his leg is going to wither away. You're going to blow his leg out by putting as much demand on it as you have been.
Yep.
Get a quarterback coach, find you a Hall of Fame lineman, and have him come in and teach these kids old school smash mouth football. You know, if you see that their fingernails are white, that means that they're leaning in and they're fixing a block.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Which means it's probably going to be a run play. They're leaning back. That means they're getting ready to drop back into a pass protection, which means, guess what? You're going to have to drop back too and let your edge rushers do their job. Right? But we need an O-line coach. We need a defensive lineman coach. I mean, Mike McCarthy is capable of doing the job because he's demonstrated it when he was up in Green Bay. He won a Super Bowl in that building. I mean, it's got to be the oddest feeling in the world knowing that the last time that the closest that the franchise you're coaching for came to winning came to the Lombardi Trophy was the one that you won coaching another team in that building.
Yeah.
But because if you remember correctly, that year was the year that Dallas was favored to win the Super Bowl, right? They went 13-3 that year, or something like that. And then they go 1 and done in the playoffs. Right? You know, but it just, and somebody needs to impress upon Dak Prescott the idea that as far as the NFL is concerned, as far as your legacy is concerned, nobody, I mean, you could put up all these great regular season stats, but you're going to be remembered for what you did in the postseason.
Yeah. Look at
And
Tony.
it may or may not be fair.
That's exactly what happened with Tony Romo. Is he had great stats during the regular season.
Yeah.
Could not make it happen in the playoffs. That's what people remember him for.
It's sad. It really is. It's sad. And you know, of course, I don't even think Stephen A. Smith came out with a video this weekend. That's how bad the beatdown was.
Yeah. It's just frustrating to see at this point because,
yeah, I mean, at what point is Jerry Jones going to start losing money on his on his return?
And is that what it's going to finally take for him to finally stop what he's doing? Because he is part of the problem. He's
part of the problem. But here's the thing.
But because
best case scenario,
good talent, and then he'll
Yeah.
get rid of them because they're not yes men.
best case scenario, might have maybe another 4 or 5 years before Jerry Jones has to step down.
Mm-hmm.
On the flip side of that coin, his son is almost like he's almost depending on who you talk to, he's either just as bad or worse than his dad is as far as being hands-on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I imagine I would not be
The owner is supposed to be there to sign the paychecks.
Yes, you're the money guy.
It is the general manager and the head coach's job to field the team. That general manager
You give them the
is
numbers, and they build the team based on what the numbers are.
yeah. Well, I mean, even then, the general manager should have going into before the even. How can I say this? Before the last day of your season, the year before, whether it's the Super Bowl or the end of the regular season or one of the many, one of the different rounds of the playoffs, before your team takes its final snap for that season, you're already looking ahead.
Yeah.
And you've already got this guy's leaving. We're not going to retender this guy's contract. We're going to sign this guy. What are we going to do in the draft? And based on your performance, your team's record from the previous, from that season, you should have a pretty good idea as to where you're going to line up in the draft,
where the deficiencies are,
and then you start making those wheeling deals about, hey, we're going to trade you this player for this round pick, kind of a thing, and set yourself up. Jerry Jones isn't doing that.
No.
And the reason, the biggest reason why the teams of the 90s had the most success, or the success that they did, was because Jimmy Johnson said, I run the draft.
Yep. As well he should.
He impressed that upon Jerry Jones. He says, you want to make the phone call? Then fine, you make the phone call, but I'm making these picks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the coach. I am the guy who does this for a living. You're the owner. And that's why they drafted the way that they did in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and everybody will woo about Barry Switzer. Barry Switzer came in. Barry Switzer he inherited the legacy of Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah.
He had that one good, successful year where they went and won the Super Bowl. And then after that, Barry Switzer kind of faded off into obscurity. And then we were stuck with the Wade Phillips era, right? The Bill Parcells era.
Yeah. Talk about the beginning of the end right there.
But hire a honest to God general manager and then impress it upon your head coach to go, okay, this is going to be a one-off experiment. If we do well, then we're going to continue with it. But if you stink up the joint, then we're going to go back. Right. Even if he gives us just that 1 year to try it. That's all that, that's all the fans of this team really want, is just for the coach and the general manager to be able to field the team, and Jerry Jones just to show up at the, in the owner's box on Sunday and sign the checks. That's all he's there for.
See, here's the problem with that, though, is that anything less than a full Super Bowl win, and Jerry Jones will call it a dismal failure and take over immediately.
At this point, if your team makes it to the NFC Championship, even if they lose by a point, if they come within 1 point of making a Super Bowl appearance, I would chalk that up as an abject success.
Oh, 100%.
Because you fielded a team with a winning record, you bring home a division title, you make your way through 2 rounds. Which, if you don't earn the first round bye, at the very least, you make it through the wild card weekend and then the divisional round. You make it to the conference championship. Dude, I will hang my hat on that season all day long.
Absolutely. It's been 25 years since we've done something, 30 something years since we've done something like that.
I mean, Cowboys fans can't even go back and watch the previous Super Bowl victories because their VHS tapes are degraded to the point where they don't work anymore.
Exactly. I was in freaking high school.
Yeah, you and me both. Okay.
We are
actually the last time that they won a Super Bowl, when they did it against the Steelers, I was actually on staff duty that night, on active duty.
That just, I mean,
so
that's the problem, is that I'm telling you, Jerry Jones, even if by some miracle he were to agree to that, and that, like you said, experiment, I'm telling you, anything less than a Super Bowl blowout, I wouldn't even say a win, a blowout, anything less than a blowout Super Bowl win, he will call it a failure.
I think at this point, Jerry Jones would just, he would be, I think he would be content just being able to sit at the same table as Robert Kraft with 6 trophies.
Yeah.
To sit at the same table as the Hines family with 6 Lombardi trophies. Right now, as far as Super Bowl victory, yeah, they've got the highest winning percentage and no, they don't have the highest winning percentage. They've got the most Super Bowl victories, appearances in NFL history.
Mhm.
But then again, in the 90s, the Braves had the most World Series appearances in baseball.
Yep.
And they only won it. They've only got 2 World Series titles. One from back in the 90s and one from a couple of years ago. So I think that everybody needs to lower the bar of expectations for the rest of the season. And I'm not being obtuse. I'm not being, malicious about it. I'm being realistic. I think that Cowboys fans as a whole just need to lower the bar and just don't expect a lot of greatness out of this year. Because, right now the Cowboys are sitting at 3-3. Is it a salvageable season? Yes. But logistically, realistically, statistically, even the idea that they're going to run the table and win the next 10 games, not happening.
It's laughable. Well, let me ask you this, and I'm being ultra pessimistic here. This is, I realize we're not to that point yet, but do you think if things keep going the way they are, that we're heading towards another Carolina? Do you think
here's what I think. If things keep going the way that they're going, Dallas is going to find themselves in that well of mediocrity. They're going to perform just well enough to get to play themselves out of a good draft pick, but they're not going to play well enough to substantiate or to justify the type of contracts that their players are asking.
So you're saying they're going to be a terminal middle of the road team
for a while.
If they don't pull out of this nosedive this season, I would probably be comfortable saying that the next 3, maybe 4 seasons going to be middle of the road.
Yeah.
They'll win. They'll fall into a division championship here and there, but it's just
I don't even have enough faith.
And note what I said: fall into one. It's not like they're going out and grabbing it. They'll fall into one, just like they fell into one last year. Because the only reason they won their division last year was because Philadelphia just absolutely fell apart down the stretch last year.
Yeah.
So I unfortunately, I think it's going to take a losing season for the front office to go, you know what? I think we need to change the way we do things.
I think this is that season. I fully expect to have a losing season.
I mean, part of me hopes that you're wrong, but
of course. But realistically, and again, this is us, we said we were not going to be doing the emotional thing anymore.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean,
this is that season.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean,
you don't come back, and I realize Detroit is, we've talked about that before. Detroit is not the team that they were. Like they have incredible talent. They have, they're on an upward swing, 100%. But you should never, ever. There should not be a single team in the NFL that they lose that badly to.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's happened twice this year.
Oh yeah,
that first one was to the Ravens, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah,
it's the most frustrating part is this is not the first.
So you know how history has a way of like being running parallel to itself.
Mm-hmm.
The last time that the Ravens came to Texas,
and
played the Cowboys, it was the closeout game for Texas Stadium, and they embarrassed the dog shit out of Dallas.
Yep,
it was the Saints because it was the second. It was second week and they lost 44.
Oh, that's right. It was the Saints. Yeah, that's right. But they did.
None of us looked at that.
They did lose to Baltimore this year, right?
I think so. I'm trying to find out.
I don't think they played.
No, you're right. You know what? You're right. Right now, 8 seconds left in the first half. The Bills are up 20-10.
Yeah,
over the Jets.
They did play Baltimore, but it was only a 3-point loss.
Okay. Still, you know,
Yeah, it was the same
these
loss.
types of blowouts, they're inexcusable.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter if you're Cleveland. It doesn't matter if you're Carolina.
You can make the argument if you're in you have like a Carolina payroll, you can at least make the argument that, well, we just don't have the money to be able to go out and get that talent.
Yeah, but
you
they
have
are
payrolls in this is the Yankees going out and having
they are I think Forbes has them listed as the most they're the number one as far as like value.
Yes,
they're appraised at over like $400 billion.
Yes, they are the most.
And considering that Jerry Jones bought the team for basically what it amounts to is chump change, like pocket change back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
It's inexcusable. You're going to start seeing that disappear though. And his bottom line is going to start going.
Yeah. You know, you're right. It just.
But that was the thing with Jerry Jones is it's always been about making the team marketable and making it money, not winning games. And he did not see that you could do both of those.
Yeah.
If you do it right.
You want to be a marketer? Fine. Market the team, but let your people do their jobs.
Exactly.
You know, and ultimately, I think this is part of the reason why Jerry Jones and his wife don't get along anymore is because it is all about Jerry. Why do you think he's screwing the interns?
Yep.
I mean, come on. Anyway, so we're moving on from that because I mean that's a soapbox we could stay on all night. But
I wanted us to have that conversation though.
Yeah, and it's a good conversation to have. It just, man, that's one that can go on for days. Honestly,
you could boil the Cowboys down right now to 2 words. Fucking embarrassing.
Yeah. Spare parts. Yeah.
Garage team.
Yeah.
It just,
dude, there are peewee teams that play with more gusto than the Cowboys did on Sunday.
There's no heart. They have no heart.
I mean, when your number one receiver and your QB1 are sitting there, like Dak can't even make eye contact with CeeDee Lamb on the sidelines.
Yeah.
I mean, last week he's talking about that's a mid-ass throw, dead-ass mid-throw. You know?
Yeah.
And then they're going to ask CD what he said, and of course he's going to change it up. He's going to be like, you know, hey, I'm open. You know, dead ass, I'm open kind of thing. Like, dude, when your receiver is, I mean,
making excuses for you.
Yeah, and to be completely honest, and I know that I'm about to say I'm kicking a hornet's nest here, but CeeDee Lamb's not that freaking good. He's just not for the type of money that that he was demanding.
No.
Like, all right, dude, you want, what is he making? He got like $130 million contract, right?
Yeah, he's not a franchise player, but
no, not a franchise player, but like, dude, you want this money? You want this money? We're going to pay you. I'm going to pay you, I don't know, $8 million this year. I'm going to give you a 1-year deal. You go out and you show me that you are worth what these other receivers are asking. Then we're going to sit down and talk about long-term contract with triple figures in it. I mean, come on. You want $130 million plus contract? Show me that you're worth it. And I would be that guy in that front office. I would have those hard conversations with these players. Like, look, dude, I get that you're putting your body out there and you're putting yourself through multiple car wrecks every week, trying to catch a ball, trying to do your job, but you're not doing your job.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a performance-based business, and I mean, they will sing your praises. I mean, Dak Prescott better be damn ass lucky. CeeDee Lamb better be damn ass lucky that they don't play for a New York-based team. They would have been run out of the league by now.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Anywhere else, Dak Prescott does not have a job. Anywhere else, CeeDee Lamb is on a practice squad somewhere. Dallas plays, I mean, they are the biggest large market team in the NFL, and they are playing like a small market team. When Carolina puts up more points than you do, you got to do some serious soul searching. And I'm not talking about just in the locker room before a game and during halftime when you're trying to be making adjustments. You got to do some serious soul searching when you're showing up to the team facility for practice during the week. Show up early. Watch film. Go get your lift in.
Act
Eat
like
your
you want
diet.
to be there.
You know, yeah. Act like you want to be there. 100%. But until then, don't come at me with these demands that you want X amount of dollars. Because, dude, I would be more than willing to bend over backwards and have the boss sign that kind of a paycheck. But you're not showing me that you're willing to do what it takes to get that money. We're not handing this shit out. We're not doing it. And, you know, until then, hey, you don't like it, file a grievance with the players union or hit the door. You can ask to be released. Fine. We'll trade you to another team and we will look down the road to next year because we're going to get a lot of draft picks for you. That's 100% all it is. So
some of these memes are getting a little bit out of hand. They have one for AT&T Stadium that said Spirit opening soon.
yeah, Spirit.
I mean, you may
mean,
as
they're not
well at
wrong.
this point.
Yeah. But like I said, we're going to try to get back on track here. So the Cincinnati New York Giants game yesterday, this was actually last night's game. Colin picked the Bengals. And the Bengals won that game 17-7. I'm sitting there watching that game and I'm like, damn. The Bengals are going to, I mean, the Bengals are going to single-handedly Colin did pick the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm like, you know what? Colin is usually good for a stinker of a pick, and then he's good for a good redemption pick every week. This was his redemption pick. Because even Max, Mr. I'm going to do Nerd Sports Midday live twice or three times a week, pick the Jets or pick the Giants to win that game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Max digs into these numbers. He digs into the trends more than any of the three of us put together, you know, or the four of us put together. And he picked the Giants. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of where I was basing my thought process off of.
You know, in all reality, it's two mediocre teams, and either one could have actually made it out.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, they're both 2-4. I mean, Giants aren't really.
Well, the Jets just scored at the half. It's 20-17 right now, and it's at halftime. So it could still go Colin and Max's way. Just depends.
Yeah.
But that concludes our picks for week 6.
Well,
Barring
there's only like one upset that happened this week, and that was the Jets coach getting kicked off.
Yeah, and the funny thing about it is that the Jets still owe him $20,000 a week for the next couple of years.
That's awesome.
They're still on the hook for his contract.
Yeah.
And this has got Aaron Rodgers' fingerprints all over it.
No, you're absolutely right on that.
And that's, that's one of the biggest reasons why I am not an Aaron Rodgers fan, because he is he was a great quarterback. He's still a good quarterback. He just gets wrapped up in everything outside the game, and he's become kind of a prima donna.
Yeah, he's letting his ego go a little bit too high.
Yeah, he's writing, his ego's writing checks his body can't cash.
Yeah, especially nowadays.
And to quote, Top Gun, if you're not careful, you don't watch it, you're going to end up flying a cargo plane full of rubber dog shit out of Hong Kong.
Yeah. All right, let's get this.
All right, yeah. Let me get this pulled up here real quick. We're gonna do. All right.
I'm looking at these I'm looking at these games so far.
Uh-huh.
The first two, I can't. I hate it's a Thursday night game. I might not even watch it. I might.
I mean, oh, this is our prime time game. This is the our Thursday night game. Carrie Underwood, and let me be very clear. I cannot stand Carrie Underwood. I just don't like her.
Mm-mm.
I think she's very disingenuous.
Not even
I
a
do.
little. Yep.
She gets paid $1 million a week to sing that song because she has to go in and she has to cut a soundbite for the teams that are playing that week. She gets paid $1 million a week to do that.
Mhm.
I mean,
And meanwhile,
sell like
we're-
big.
meanwhile, we're waking up trying to figure out how to balance a budget because, we made some bad decisions in our lives. It's like,
Especially this weekend when I went to Six Flags, bought a freaking hot dog and a water.
hey, you want to fix that
Your
before we
water
get
was-
flagged? Six Flags. He went to Six Flags.
Thanks.
He didn't go to Five Guys for their
Or-
sauce. I'm just saying.
I bought a,
Flags.
I went,
What, Colin?
got a- I got a
Said
drop.
flags. He went to flags.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to Six Flags, and I got a bratwurst and a water. $17.
Sounds about right.
You're Colin.
Okay, so the first
Wow. Okay, so all right, let me let me get in here. All right, so
I'm going Saints.
hold on there, guy. All right. You know what? I'm going to go New Orleans also. What about you? So you said Saints. What about you, Chris?
Same.
Colin?
I feel
You're gonna ride that donkey into the ground, aren't you?
I feel a little trepidation saying the Saints, but I think they're gonna
Alright,
pull out.
look. There's two. I have two picks that I know I'm probably gonna lose this week, and this is gonna be one of them. Going with the donkeys.
Okay. All right. I mean, you standing up for your convictions. That's all good, man. It's all right. Just it's more better than most 15-year-olds in this country. I mean, they show a lack of backbone. All right. So for the second week in a row, I kind of wonder if Jacksonville even bothered coming home. They played in London yesterday as the visiting team. They're playing in London this weekend as the home team. So they're going to be hosting the Patriots in London. I'm taking New England because, and here's the reason why. Their quarterback impressed me yesterday, and I think that New England is going to pull out a win.
Agree. It's gonna be
Okay.
a shit game, but yeah, I think New England's got it.
What about you, David?
I kind of want to go with the Jaguars being rested because they're staying in there in England, but unless they go back and forth, I would.
Fiscally, it doesn't make any sense, but
Yeah, I'm with you with the Patriots though, because he was pretty good last week. So yeah, let's just go with the Patriots.
okay. All right. So
If I lose
Patriots
it, I'll
across the board. All right. So Seahawks at the Falcons. It's a battle of the birds. It's a cockfight. I'm picking the Falcons on this one.
I was
Yeah, I'm
thinking the
going-
Same.
We underestimated the draft from this year's draft, and they have proved themselves. so
Kirk
much.
Cousins not a rookie, right? Kirk
Yeah, I know.
Cousins was in Minnesota last year.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. All right. I just kind of wondering where the draft angle came from, but
No, okay. They had the shittiest draft pick last year.
oh
Or
yeah,
this-
okay.
this year.
You know what's funny is that they even though they signed Kirk Cousins, Atlanta picked a quarterback in the draft.
yeah.
Yeah,
That-
I don't
was
understand
the
that.
thing.
Let's go.
All right. So the next game up on the docket, it is the Titans going up to Buffalo to play the Bills.
Bills.
I'm taking the
Bills.
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 That's easy pick.
What about you, David?
Yeah, Bills.
Okay. All right. Bengals at the Browns.
Taking the Bengals.
Bengals.
I
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't
Bengals.
see
I'm gonna take the
Browns going
Bengals.
anywhere this year.
I don't
Honestly,
see Bengals going anywhere either, but still,
Yeah, I mean,
we're left with
2-4 versus 1-5, and it's like,
eh,
okay. Now this is going to be a good game to watch. It's going to be the Texans at the Packers.
Well,
and I'm so upset that I don't get to watch.
I feel like this one's just a coin flip.
Like,
Well,
it's 50-50
you're
who's
right.
gonna win.
To a degree, you're right. It's going to be a shootout. 100%.
yes.
Yeah, it is.
And it's going to
a shootout.
be it's going to be what defense makes the first stop.
Yeah, but
I'm
going
taking
Bengals.
Texans on this one.
Yeah, I'm taking Houston on this one
You're
also.
probably a Texans, probably.
Houston has really, like I said, they've impressed the hell out of me the last.
Yeah. What about you, David?
Texans.
Okay.
It's a
All
short
right.
answer.
I mean, it's all, and I hate saying this, and it might be the local effect. I don't know, but like I have found myself enjoying watching the Texans more than I have watching anybody else in the NFL this year, and I find myself like
Totally valid.
rooting for the Texans, like
The
legitimately
Texans-
rooting for the Texans.
The Texans is a fun team to watch.
And they are. I mean.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, like my wife's late husband. She was in the process of trying to buy him season tickets because he was a devout Texans fan, and she's like, "We root for the Cowboys in his house," and I'm like, "Okay," as I'm hanging my Tom Brady jerseys up in the closet, kind of a thing. But, all right. So the Dolphins at the Colts.
Colts.
I'm a Joe Flacco believer. I'm taking Indianapolis. See, but here's the thing.
Same.
Richardson, their starting quarterback, is supposed to be back next week.
I'm going with Colts because
And here's my thing. Everybody's talking about, well, there's going to be a quarterback controversy in Indianapolis. Joe Flacco's playing really good. He's got the offense rolling. And then Richardson does, when he comes back, he's coming back off an injury. Here's what I say. I say roll with Flacco for a couple more weeks and let Richardson sit back and watch and observe and take notes. He can still get his reps in during practice and things like that. And if anything else, it gives him a couple more, weeks to, rehab that injury. So that way it doesn't become a chronic issue. That's just my take. What about you, Chris?
Yeah, I just the Dolphins just don't impress me this year. They've let me down too many times.
Yeah, they came out hot. And then when Tua went down,
Yeah.
I mean,
I think that's what really
he left a hole that they have not been able to fill,
yeah.
or at least haven't been able to make adjustments to, because you don't ever really fill the hole. You just try to make adjustments to make up.
You taking the Colts too, Colin?
Yeah.
Okay. This one's going to leave Colin feeling conflicted.
Good.
Let me.
Yeah.
let- Lions going to Minnesota to play the Vikings.
This is
It's
gonna be a
gonna be one
tough.
hell of a game. Like
that's going to be a blood
This
sport
is a
right
game
there.
right here.
Dude,
This-
that is going to be a battle of attrition.
Yeah.
I want to pick the Vikings because I think they're gonna win, but on the other hand, I just have like a feeling that the Lions are gonna.
I mean, especially after that ass whooping. I mean,
Yeah.
that
Okay.
absolute
think-
clinic that they put on in Dallas yesterday.
That
true,
injury
true,
affected them, though.
true, but I feel like at this point in time, beating Dallas is like the same as beating the Panthers.
Yeah.
Mm, I wouldn't
It's
go that far, but I mean, I understand the point that you're trying to make. The only question mark that I've got about Detroit is is how are they going to replace Aiden Hutchinson? Who's the next man up? So I mean, They've got plenty of depth at defense, on the ends. So I'm not terribly worried about it, but I don't know. I think the Vikings are going to pick up their first loss of the year on Sunday.
I'm gonna go with Vikings, but I won't be terribly upset if the Lions win.
No,
Okay.
because both this year, both these teams are really good.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to stick with the Lions.
All right. What about you, Chris?
I wouldn't be surprised if they lose to the Vikings.
Ah, man, that's so tough to call on that because it just depends on if the
It's-
Lions are going to be able to
I didn't-
adjust.
I just think the Vikings defense is gonna hold up. So
They're due a loss. The Vikings are due a loss. They're not going to go undefeated this year. You know what? I'm calling. I'm going to say this is going to be their loss. I'm going to go with the Lions.
Okay.
But honestly, I will not be surprised if I lose.
Yeah, I'm not going to be surprised
Yeah,
if this game goes either way, but I mean, it's going to be an entertaining game to watch regardless.
This game you can choose with your emotion because you know both teams are really good.
Yeah, but I mean, really, I don't for this game. I really don't think there's other than their fan bases, there's really no emotion in this, right? I mean, at least for us. I mean, we look at it and we're like, and both teams are really good.
Right.
Now, Minnesota's coming off of a bye week. Detroit's coming in off of that really just amazing beat down, right? They've got all week to figure out, who they're going to put in to replace Aiden Hutchinson. And I mean, their guys are getting rested. So, and I would rather come into a game fresh off of the heels of handing America's team their ass than having to sit at home for a week watching games on the couch and then trying to get in that mindset during the course of the week. It's like trying to cold start a diesel engine on a snowy morning.
Yeah, and sometimes you're absolutely right because sometimes you have that bye week and they come in and they lose because
they're a little flat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Picking this game is left a bad feeling. It's like I feel bad now.
It's all
Like,
good,
I
man.
have like that really
you know what?
bad feeling.
But just stick to your convictions. You picked Minnesota. Write it, dude. Just write it. Just stand up and be proud of it. Even if you're wrong, be proud of it. The next game is going to be the Eagles going to the Meadowlands to play the New York Football Giants. Just by virtue of, I mean, and it's not because of the Eagles being the Eagles. The Giants they're not there, man.
Yeah, I still can't stand the Eagles, but it's the Giants just don't.
I'm with you on this one. The Eagles.
I said the Eagles. Like,
oh, did you? Okay, all right.
yeah.
Did not hear you. Okay, so now we've got the Raiders at the Rams. The Raiders are going to have a bigger crowd at SoFi Stadium than the Rams are. I'm going to pick the Vegas Raiders, man. I'm just going with the Raiders.
Same.
On this one, yeah.
I got no faith in the Rams.
I'm going with the Rams. This is
all right.
This is my second pick where I know I'm gonna lose.
I mean, okay. Next up, we've got Carolina going into Washington, playing in front of a crowd larger than 15. I don't think they're going to be able to handle the crowd noise. Look for a lot of false start penalties, a lot of illegal formation penalties coming out of Carolina. I'm looking for the Commanders to stomp.
Yeah.
All over the Cats on this one.
And you forgot you're gonna have some of the players just like look around because
I mean, you're gonna see cell phones out there and
people.
They're gonna
you're gonna see iPhones and crap on the Carolina sidelines. Dudes gonna be taking video. They're gonna be like, "Yo, I played in front of a packed house. I'm gonna tell my kids about this day."
Dude. The Panthers are gonna walk off this field limping.
I mean, I mean,
Because they're so disoriented, right?
I mean, Washington is going to do to them that. I mean, like you normally see that kind of stuff like in shows like The Wire or Oz. It's going to be brutal.
They're gonna be like, did we score at least 3? No, nobody. No, you didn't.
Okay, so this game we've got the Chiefs and the 49ers. This is a rematch of last year's Super Bowl.
I'm gonna have to say the Chiefs.
Yeah, I was going to say the
Chiefs.
Chiefs on this one too.
Francisco- And the
Yeah,
only
Chiefs.
reason why is, I mean, if San Francisco had all of their players, they might have a good.
Yeah, I mean,
I think
Kansas
I think
City did
49ers
lose
got
Rashid
lucky
Rice
last week.
last week, or not yesterday, but he's out, right? Because he's got an ACL tear. But they've got other people that can make those explosive plays. And if anything else, man, I mean, you stretch the defense out a couple of times a quarter, you're going to start opening up those passing lanes and underneath, and then at the very least, you've got that dual threat at running back. So it's going to be the Chiefs again.
I think that the 49ers.
And Chris, did you
got
say
lucky
Chiefs also?
last week?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Aaron Rodgers is going to be hosting, or no, he's not. He is hitting the road. He's taking the Jets, and they're setting sail for Pittsburgh, and they're going to be playing the Steelers. This is the Sunday night game.
I want to say Steelers.
Yeah, I want to say the Pittsburgh on this one also.
Ooh, this next matchup would be pretty good. It's pretty
And
good.
what did you two say?
I said Steelers.
Steelers. Okay.
Yeah,
And
Steelers.
Colin, you said Steelers. Okay. All right. Now the Monday night game is a double header this week. We've got the Ravens at the Bucks, and then we've got the Chargers at Arizona. The Ravens and Bucks. Derrick Henry is an absolute beast.
Oh, Buccaneers.
I mean, Derrick Henry is out there doing what Bryson, what the Army quarterback was doing to I mean, stiff arming people, running over them like they ain't there. I mean, I played high school football. I played football 8th, 9th, and 10th grade years. And my 8th grade year, junior high, we were practicing, and we've got a guy that I cannot remember his name. This dude was built like a brick shit house, right? I'm out in space, like open field, and he makes it to my level. I am the last person he's got to beat. Dude, I can feel the fingertips through my helmet on my skull. That's how hard he stiff armed me. I'm like, I broke down into that good form when you're trying to make that good form tackle, and all he did was just like that. I mean, he pushed me into the next zip code. That's how bad it was. And yeah, that kind of hurts my head a little bit thinking about that. But I mean, Baker Mayfield, I mean, he's got that offense doing things that, they haven't been able to do for a couple of years. So I don't know, man. This is going to be this is another one of those games that's really hard to call.
Yeah, this is one of the games I'm hoping to watch. Because
I'm gonna go Ravens.
I'm going Buccaneers.
I think that Ravens defense is gonna be tough to go up against.
I'm going Buccaneers. I don't know. I just got one of those feelings.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the Ravens this year. They have a solid team, but it's one of this game right here. I mean,
I think it's going to be a 2-point victory, but I'm going to go Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
It's going to be close.
Yeah.
All right. So the last game of the week.
We'll just say Chargers. I mean,
I'm taking the Chargers. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is going to be one of those one-off victories that the Chargers are going to have where Coach Harbaugh doesn't have a fucking heart attack pre-game.
yeah.
So, yeah. On a bye week this week. So, good news, Cowboys Nation. Dak Prescott can't throw a fucking interception this week because he's sitting on the couch.
He'll find a way.
He'll find a way. Yeah.
Right.
He will find a way to get picked off.
He's
twice.
gonna go. He's gonna go throw he's gonna be eating wings on the couch, and he's gonna try to flip that bone into the trash can in the kitchen. His dog's gonna fucking jump up and eat it.
Right. He'll
All right,
probably have a
I
snack.
am.
You know, while CeeDee Lamb's sitting on the couch next to him, going, "Fuck it, dude, I was wide open." Dead ass.
All right, everybody. I am going to bed. I gotta take a shower and I gotta wake up in the morning early.
All right. Well, just go. I will shoot Max a text, or you can shoot Max a text. I'm just gonna need those picks.
Yeah.
I want to get this printed. I want to get this typed up, and I want to get this to you to post no later than Thursday.
Yeah.
Because that's the first game of the week. So I mean, he needs to have his picks to me.
Yeah, I'll make sure of it.
And for the love of God, can he just call them the Commanders instead of the Commies? Because I was still scratching my head on that one. Like, I'm sitting there going through the list, and I'm like, surely he means this. I'm like, man, I don't know.
I was about to say, I was like, well, there's not that many other teams with this. No, there's a lot.
I get it, but I mean, this is Max we're talking about here.
And we call the at least we get it like close.
You know, at the very least, just say Redskins.
Redskins, yeah.
Yeah. But
All
right, David.
Love you guys. Talk to y'all later.
All right, man. Be good. Okay, so we're gonna move on from football. NASCAR. Oh, NASCAR this weekend outdid themselves. The black helicopters were swirling overhead, and let me tell you, the conspiracy theories are running deep this week. There was the road course race, the road course race at Charlotte Motor Speedway, the Roval race. It is, Roval, part road course, part oval. That's why they call it the Roval. It's a play on words. It's kind of catchy. I appreciate what you did there, Humpy Wheeler. Anyways, Kyle Larson walked off with he drove off with the victory on Sunday. He automatically advanced to the round of 8. So, good for him. The point standings right now, as they stand for the playoffs, Kyle Larson is at the front with the number 1 position. Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick, and William Byron make up the top 4 drivers. And below the cutoff line, you've got Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, and Joey Logano. Now, this was a cutoff race. Okay, you went from the round of 12 to the round of 8. The controversy this weekend came from the fact that Alex Bowman, his car got inspected post-race and was found to be underweight. No reason why. The engineers were trying to scratch their heads like, why? How? We don't get it. So NASCAR disqualified him and revised the standings, or the finishing order, moving Alex Bowman to 38th. What this allowed to happen was Joey Logano was allowed to advance to the next round. Joey Logano fans obviously are very happy about it. Joey Logano is obviously very happy about it. I don't know if Hendrick Motorsports is planning on appealing this decision or not. To my knowledge, NASCAR did not really give any kind of indication as to where on the car it was weighing light at. Honestly, couldn't tell you. There's not a lot of information that was put out about it. And I'm really not expecting anything to come out about it until at least tomorrow or Wednesday. So I don't know. I mean, if Hendrick Motorsports decides to appeal the decision, The arbitrating body has to. I mean, they've got to respond to this pretty quickly because it's a very time sensitive issue. I mean, obviously with point standings having an effect on it, or it could very well dictate the outcome of a season, kind of a thing. So, but yeah, Chase Elliott is below the cutoff line. He is in the 7th position right now. I expect him to bounce back and have a decent showing over the next 2 weekends. This round has got the South Point 400 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. That is this Sunday's race. It's Sunday, October 20th at 1:30 Central Time is when the green flag is supposed to drop. It. That race is going to be on NBC, PRN, which is the Performance Racing Network, or SiriusXM Channel 90, or on your SiriusXM app on your favorite mobile device. But it's a 1.5 mile track. It's a cookie cutter track along the lines of Texas Motor Speedway. So look for Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott to have a very strong showing, as well as William Byron. Wins during this round will advance you to the round of 4 for the championship weekend. So we're getting down to the nitty gritty, and it is when performance matters the most. So the weekend after that, on October 27th, it's at Homestead Miami Speedway. Chase Elliott has done really well there. So has William Byron. Kyle Larson has done really well at Miami Homestead. Ryan Blaney has done well there also. Denny Hamlin does well at Las Vegas Motor Speedway also. He also does really well at Martinsville. So that's going to be the wild card race. And if there is any semblance of justice in the NASCAR universe, we're going to get to see a championship weekend in Phoenix without Denny Hamlin contending for the Cup. That would be kind of nice. Next year's going to be kind of an off year for him because he's going to FedEx is, if I remember reading the story correctly, FedEx, which has been his primary sponsor since he broke into the series as a rookie, has been his primary sponsor. They are leaving the 11 team next year. So they are opting to not be a primary sponsor, which is going to be interesting because Joe Gibbs Racing has kind of built their organization around FedEx, so to speak. We'll see what happens. I mean, honestly, you ask me, it couldn't happen to a nicer guy, but
Right.
that's my humble, uneducated opinion. I like the 1.5 mile tracks. The racing has gotten predominantly better there. Ooh, and something happened just now. Hold the phone. Go back. Week 6. Come on. Oh, damn. Game is tied. It's 20-all right now. Buffalo's got the ball. And Buffalo is actually... Yeah, no, they just got the ball back. Okay. Craig Zerline, 22-yard field goal is good. How many more times in during his career is he going to have that? A good kick. You remember Greg Zerline? He used to kick for Dallas.
Did he?
Yeah, he did.
I don't remember that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was during the Tony Romo years. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't know how much of this, Alex Bowman getting disqualified because of weight was because his car was actually underweight, or were they just paying a service to Roger Penske? Because Roger Penske also made NFL. He got some FaceTime during the Cowboys game yesterday. Because he and Jerry Jones came to an agreement, and next year there's going to be an IndyCar Grand Prix race held in Arlington.
Ooh.
They're going to go around Globe Life Stadium or Globe Life Field and AT&T Stadium. That's where the course is going to be. It's going to be a road course race in Arlington.
Could be interesting.
And dude, you want to talk about you want to talk about opportunistic advertisement dollars? Walmart. That Walmart that's next to AT&T. That road that goes in between the two, that's part of the course on this race.
Yeah. That'd be fun.
So, I mean, are they still going to be like open for business during the race? You imagine how loud that parking lot's going to be,
Right?
or are they going to like cordon off like half of the parking lot and set it up for like bleachers, kind of a thing? That's crazy. Yeah, it just everybody wants to jump on the whole. Well, I'm surprised that NASCAR took a hard stance against Hendrick Motorsports. Blah blah blah. And you see this from fan bases across any other kind of sports. Also, I mean, it's you've always got that evil empire organization for baseball. It's the Yankees and the Dodgers. Football, 90%. I would say the Dallas Cowboys, but well, fine. Get up and just walk away. I don't care. To say that the Dallas Cowboys are the evil empire, that would require them to win, and they have not been doing that. But all that aside, we need to land the plane, but we need him to come back. And I don't want to. I had to step away from Astrobot because I've got one trophy left, 2 trophies left to earn. I've got I've got to get the golden bot, and then I can platinum the game, right? It's just that last level has been pissing me off. So I took the game out of my PS5 and I bought the director's cut and the upgrade for the Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh,
Dude,
masterpiece.
I got like the best deal on Steam today.
Really?
So they were doing sales on Tomb Raider games.
Mm-hmm.
So a bundle that's usually like $200 was on sale for, I think it was $12.
Nice.
I bought that immediately. It came with,
I don't doubt it.
I think it came with The Rise of the Tomb Raider,
Mm-hmm.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and another one. And it came with like a bunch of DLC and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Dude.
Yeah. Shadow of the Tomb Raider was a really good game. It was big. It had an open world feel to it, and it just aesthetically it was a beautiful game.
I think my favorite one from like the newer ones might be the one where it's all snowy.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, that one's great. Well, Chris, I know that you've got things to do. We're gonna go ahead and land the plane tonight, man. It's already almost it's 25 after the hour, and we're coming in at just under 2 hours right now. So I don't know. This seems as good of a place as any to put this plane down. So what do you guys think?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for participating. Thank you for watching. This has been Nerd Sports episode 182. It's been a pleasure for the last couple of years to come into your ear holes and live on Monday nights. So we look forward to seeing you all here next week. Would like the chat to be a lot more active, but engagement is always a good thing. But with that being said, I am your host, Lord Johnny Skelton.
I am Chris Jacka.
I'm Prince Colin Skilton.
And it's an endearing thing. I am a Scottish landowner. I'm just kind of putting that out there. Anyways, you have been indentured. You have been made privy to the dysfunctional happenings here at Angry Me Production. Thanks again. And in the immortal words of the lesbian pirate bearded clam, scissor me timbers are squirt, squirt, squirt.